one of the things that I've become very fascinated with from my discussions with Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock is the Younger Dryas impact theory. And it's a theory that somewhere around 11,800 years ago, the end of the Ice Age was caused by us getting hit by comets. And it probably wiped out most civilization. And when we're looking at the Mesopotamians and ancient Sumer, we're looking at a rebuilding of civilization, not the emergence of civilization, but a rebuilding of civilization. What that means to me is that from 11,800 years ago to 6,000 years ago was probably pretty fucking horrific. Pretty horrific for a long time. People probably barely made it, and the people that did make it were probably monsters. And then it took a long time for everything to settle back down again. And people start inventing mathematics again, start rebuilding structures, and start using agriculture and all these different things that they probably had already harnessed when they were building the pyramids. They probably already harnessed all that. They were probably as advanced, if not more advanced than us. That what we are is what Graham Hancock, Graham Hancock likes to say that we're a civilization with amnesia. And that seems like archaeologists were pushing back against it for a long time, but they seem to be backing off of that now for a bunch of reasons. One, because of the physical evidence. There's a lot of real physical evidence of ancient cultures that were far more sophisticated than we give them credit for. Specifically, Göbekli Tepe and some of these places in Turkey, they found 11,000-year-old complex stone structures back when people were supposed to be much more primitive. And they really don't know the actual dates of the pyramids. They've just carbon dated some genetic material, some material that's inside the cracks of the stones and stuff on the surface, but they don't know when they actually put it down. It's just kind of guesswork, because easily it could have been work that was done thousands of years later by people who found it. Like, they don't really know.
I hear this said all the time. Is it now known how the pyramids were built, or is it still an unknown?
No idea. Not just no idea.
Is there a leading theory?
Nope. They're all bullshit. And the thought behind it is the real problem is some of these fucking things weighed 50, 70 tons, and they were taken from quarries hundreds of miles away through the mountains. At the very most recent, what the mainstream archaeologists believe, was 2,500 BC. Somehow or another, back then, they had the ability to move 70-ton blocks of stone through the mountains from hundreds of miles away and get it to Giza. And not just that, but build 2,300,000 of them into a perfect pyramid that points almost exactly to due north, south, east, and west, and that at one point in time was covered in smooth limestone. What we see now, this like jagged, it's because people looted it. And they took the limestone off the surface of the pyramid. People are monsters. They found this thing that far more intelligent people built a long fucking time ago, and they rummaged through it, stole shit. But whoever those people were, and whatever they did, and how they did it, and how long ago they did it, what they did we can't do today, no matter what anybody says. I think the number was, if they cut and placed 10 stones a day, it would take you 600 plus years to make one pyramid. 10 of these massive stones that they move into place 4,000 plus years ago, at least. Like, how? How'd you do it? No one knows. No one knows. It's all guesswork. They don't even know what they did, how they cut it. They only supposedly had copper tools back then. They don't know how they cut those things. They don't know how they moved them. There's evidence of drill marks. There's like all these different pieces of stone that looks like a tubular diamond drill has gone into it. They don't know what the fuck that is.
So Graham Hancock's theory is then that this was an advanced civilization that got destroyed?
Not just his, but many people now are coming on board with this. But there's also core samples. They've taken core samples of Earth, and when they get to that point in time at 11,800 years ago, they find high levels of iridium in certain parts of the Earth, which is very common in space and very rare on Earth. They also find nanodiamonds that come from impacts, and I think they call it tritonite or trinitite, like after the Trinity bomb, because when they detonated the Trinity bomb, they found this same sort of microglass because of the explosion. It's just extreme amount of energy slamming into dirt, and it makes these microdiamonds. And they find those also at that level of 11,800 years. And they think it was not just that one time. They think it probably happened again somewhere around 10,000 years ago as well, maybe multiple times throughout history. And they think it's also the same comet storm that we passed through that led to the Tunguska event. Do you know about that? I think that was in the 1920s. There was an area of Siberia where I think it was like more than 1 million acres of trees were devastated. And what they think happened was we passed through that comet shower and something blew up in the environment upon re-entry, upon entry into our environment, into our atmosphere, and blew up over. It didn't actually impact, but it detonated above it. And I think to this day it's still flattened.